Hey, good people. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all my review on Married at First Sight. Guys, I'm almost at 400 subscribers, so I'd greatly appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button. Definitely like and drop your comments below. I want to know how you guys felt about this episode. Without further ado, let's go. I'm just going to break down these couples couple by couple, and the first couple that I'm starting with is McKinley and Dominique. One thing about these two, they are serious about their sleep. Like, of course, everyone pretty much is. You want to have a good night's sleep. I feel like every time they're on my TV screen, they're talking about who was snoring, who wasn't snoring, and stuff like that. I almost feel like them talking about sleep is kind of like a filler conversation because I don't really see thus far them diving deep into any serious questions, concerns, or just, talking about their background. It's very surface level between the two of them. I also don't find them to be attracted to one another. Personally, I do know that McKinley talks about her boobs and stuff like that because he likes, a well endowed woman from the top. But outside of that and that scene that they had in the pool, I gotta be honest, I don't really see the love there. I don't really see the attraction. If anything, I will say he probably is more attracted to her, but I don't feel like she's attracted to him at all. When she was walking down that cobblestone pathway and almost broke her neck, I had a little kiki about it, but I will say that was the most graceful almost fall I've ever seen. Okay, do y'all see this picture of how graceful she did that? One of the things that Dominique has noticed about McKinley is that he's not as adventurous as she is, and a lot of the times, I'll say it as a viewer, it does seem like he's complaining about different things. It's only been one thing that they've done, which was the boat ride or whatever that was that they were on. But like she pointed out, he'll say, "Oh, I don't want to do it," or whatever, but she knows that he eventually will do it. So that's of a little concern to her. But for right now, she's saying she'll just block it out because she knows he's going to do it anyway. Now let's talk about my favorite couple, Chris and Nicole. Chris tells Nicole that the night before was amazing. If you guys recall last week's episode, they were really having some tough conversations about relationships that they've had with other people in the past. So he really appreciates the fact that they were able to do that. He said it's important to know what they have been through, and Nicole said it's good that they are having the tough conversations first because in previous relationships, she waited to have those conversations and then found out later on that her and that person were not on the same page about things. She wants to make sure that she knows Chris as much as she can on decision day, and of course she wants the same for him so that they both can make a confident decision on whether or not they will stay married or get divorced. Chris says that he feels the same. These two going rum drinking was funny to me. They definitely were a little bit tipsy. Nicole says that old Nicole was selfish, drank a lot, and was living it up. Chris told her that it does take a lot to get him frustrated. She then asked him if it bothers him that she loses her cool easier than he does. He says he does not know. Obviously, it's too early to tell. I would not have asked him that question. I think I would have, waited a little bit of time, got to know each other a little bit better, and then maybe he, during that time, would have seen that side of me and been better equipped to answer that type of question. But that's just me. He does let her know, though, that if that type of frustration, anger, or whatever it is directed towards him, that's going to be a problem. He's not having it. I appreciate the fact that he's establishing that boundary earlier because I know a lot of us think that maybe Chris might be a little bit of a pushover, too much of a nice guy, but the fact that he's letting her know this early on, I think is a great thing. He says in his confessional that old Nicole would be a problem for him, which I completely can understand. I think both of these people will be just fine together. The conversations that they're having right now are very important to have, as they have already said earlier. I also do believe that it'll be 100% beneficial to them in the end. He asked her about having kids. For him, he wants the best of both worlds, one boy, one girl. She's never really been that into having kids. She's more career focused and things like that, but it does seem like she is open to that possibility. They both decide to revisit this in about about 2 years. In her confessional, she says that she wonders if he is just trying to appease her by going along with, I guess having to wait 2 years to revisit that conversation. I think he is, but I think that Chris has to be honest with himself and honest with his wife about exactly what it is that he wants. Time will tell. We'll see. Aris and Jasmine, oh my goodness. Every time I want to say, you know what, Aris, you're doing a good job. Every time I want to pat him on the back, all of those things, he does something that just makes absolutely no sense. For instance, it was really nice to see him serve her for a change. I got on him last week's episode because when they arrived to that hotel suite and he was up in that bathtub asking her to feed him that fruit like that, that really disturbed me. It really did. So to see him open up this episode bringing her food was really nice. I do also like the fact that he said that he would be supportive towards her. Her mom is going through cancer right now, so she's going through chemotherapy and things of that nature. Jasmine describes herself as being a workaholic, so it seems like Arris just wants to let her know, listen, you have a lot on your plate. I'm here to support you with whatever you need. And that was really nice to see. Now, the question is he really going to, in his actions, match what he's saying with his words? I thought they had another sweet moment when they went snorkeling and he was talking about how the salt water was getting in his beard and everything. And she was there being the nurturer that she is, making sure that he was okay. Now they had this beautiful romantic dinner on the beach. I felt like everything up until this point was going as well as could be expected. And then here he goes. Number one, I feel like she kind of does baby him a little bit, feeding him her lobster. And she was only hoping that he was going to take a bite of the lobster. Homeboy took that whole piece of lobster off her fork and ate it. I said, are you serious, Arris? Arris is an only child, so he is more than likely very spoiled. And it is definitely showing. My number 2 issue with this dinner was when she asked him what else he wanted to know about her. Clearly, she was not expecting this response from him. This man said, what is your favorite sexual position? Do y'all see the face that this woman gave him? Like, are you serious, sir? To me, her face said it all. Of all the things you could sit up here and ask her on day 3 of your marriage, this is what you're going to ask her? Wow. So she pleads the fifth. She doesn't want to answer the question. He says he's going to tone it down, meaning he's not going to talk so much about sex. But then he turns around and asks her what her favorite color is. So I'm like, okay, we're on a different path. Very good, Arris. Way to rebound. She says that her favorite color is lavender, which just so happens to be my favorite color. This fool going to sit up there and say, women whose favorite color is lavender like the downward facing dog position. Are you serious, Arris? Read the room. This woman does not want to talk about sex right now. And at the rate you're going, you might not get none, period. To make matters even worse, he then asks her, why is sex such a taboo topic of conversation for her? She says that it's not. She's just more modest. He then says it's given lady vibes. It's given class. Of course, that's what she should be given. She is a lady and she is a classy lady. He basically goes on to say that he needs it to give the opposite. And if y'all know what the opposite of a classy woman is, that's what he's talking about. Okay? WHORE. Really, Arris? Who are you talking to right now? This is your wife. I couldn't believe it. And Jasmine is sitting there laughing it off. I think a part of her is questioning, is he being serious? And then the other part of her is like, girl, no, he is being serious. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's clear that he has one thing on his mind tonight. Remember, before they even went on this trip, he was talking about looking forward to having intimate time shared with her. So it's clear right now what his intentions are. He goes on to say in his confessional that his wife has a demon side and he needs to pull it out of her. It's going to be fun. He has never been a sex mentor, but he can show her the way. Are you Jesus? Like, what you mean you could show her the way? To me, it just seems like she's just an object to him. What do you guys think? Before the scene closes, he does tell her that he is at her service and he's on demand. I mean, tell me you want to have sex without telling me you want to have sex. You know what I'm saying? Arris also finally admits to Jasmine that he has never fallen in love before. She seems a bit taken aback by this, which I would be as well. He's 39 years old and has never been in love. In her confessional, she says that she is processing this information right now. She finds it scary that he might not fall in love with her. she tells him straight up she does feel pressure because of this. She asks him, does he have to be in love to say yes on decision day? And he says he does not know. Ooh, I feel for Jasmine in this moment because it's clear that she's in it for all the right reasons. Not saying that he's not, but I don't know. Like I said, Arris, right now, brother, you rubbing me the wrong way. Clint and Gina, they must have spent hours trying to go to this waterfall. I don't know how long they was in the car, but a storm was brewing. There was a whole bunch of things going on. Once they finally arrived at their destination, he told her that he was impressed that she really wasn't bothered by all of the obstacles getting to this place that they faced. She says that she has learned not to let things that she can't control get to her. Clint is looking forward to seeing her, as he calls it, as a boss lady. For Gina, she's hoping that Clint can calm her down a bit and that they can find a vice to do together. Clint says he likes things to be a mystery, whereas Gina describes herself as more structured. She thinks maybe he can kind of get her out of her comfort zone a little bit with that. In another scene, Gina tells Clint that she needs him to be patient and supportive. In Gina's confessional, she says that she has admiration for Clint. Right now, they're not at the physical level yet. She does appreciate that they are talking through what they desire first. So this scene really made me sad for Clint. I have to be honest with you guys. He tells Gina that their vacation has exceeded his expectations and that they just click. And then here goes Gina. She's going to sit up there and tell this man that she does not feel an overwhelming chemistry. She does not want to force anything and wants to know how he feels. He claims that he feels the same way, but I think his pride was definitely hurt. I think that just shifted his whole demeanor as it relates to her. And then I guess it kind of makes sense for the previews that we see for next week's episode, where he kind of takes a jab at her. It's probably not coming from this is how I really feel, because in my opinion, Clint was enamored with Gina when he saw her walking down the aisle. And you guys remember their first night together, he was ready to get it in. But I think now, because she said this, of course, because his pride is bruised, he is definitely, which we've already seen, like I said with the preview, going to say something to kind of like get back at her. And I just think that's a recipe for disaster. For me, I thought she had already said enough when she told him she was not attracted to him. She then went on to say that she doesn't really vibe with redheads and gingers. Really, Gina girl? Talk about, like, you can't see that this man is a little hurt by what you already said. Now you're going to turn around and say this? Wow. I felt like she had already said enough when she told him that she wasn't attracted to him, but now you're over here adding insult to injury. Gina, now would be a great time to just stop talking. Let's talk about Shaq and Kirsten. I feel like they're really a stunning couple. Do y'all see this picture of them? Just beautiful. She in particular confuses me so much because she refuses to let this man kiss her, but she has no problem holding his hands, bringing his head to her shoulder, letting him wrap his arms around her. So I'm like, what's going on, Kirsten? What is going on? Because of all of those little signs of affection, I'm holding out hope, and I might be crazy, that these two will actually work out. I think I'm a little bit right now 30-70 with that, whereas before I was like 90-10. But we will see as the season continues to unfold. When they were on the ATVs and she was kind of not making fun of him, but saying like he was slow and stuff like that, I'm like, girl, did you forget that he was in that bad accident when he was a kid? And maybe that has something to do with this. And sure enough, he says in his confessional, because of the trauma from that, he's a very careful guy. But kudos to him, because as they're riding, he eventually lets go of that fear and kind of enjoys himself, which was nice to see. Shaq does tell Kirsten that he is attracted to her, which we knew from the time he saw her walk down the aisle. She asked him, how does he feel about seeing her in the morning? Is it the same feeling? And he's like, I like you even more in the morning. I thought that was so beautiful. So beautiful. And listen, there is such a sincerity to Shaq that there's no way that she can't feel like what he's saying is authentic, because me as a viewer, I see it. What do you guys feel? She does share with him that she was not initially attracted to him, and I'm listening to her choice of words. She says initially, but as she's getting to know him, he is becoming more attractive to her. She says that she is not a good kisser and does not kiss much, and she wants to know how he feels about that. Y'all know he's asked her for a kiss and she denied him, and I guess I wonder want to say still they have not kissed yet. The most kissing he's done to her is a forehead kiss. Shaq says that he is patient. Kirsten tells him that it's taking her a little more time. She wants to know if it makes him feel less connected to her. He says that he feels like it's a push off, like sometimes she doesn't want to cross that boundary yet. Now I'm listening to what she's talking about, where she's like, I'm not a good kisser, I don't really like kissing, but yet you told your bridesmaids that if he asked, you would do it. And I just feel like if that's the case, how come she didn't say that early on and even let him know that early on? You guys let me know what you think about that. So Shaq feels like he's been talking so much about himself that he really wants to know more about her. She tells him that she would just like for him to be more emotionally supportive. And he tells her that he wants her to be more intentional with herself. She wants him to naturally talk to her versus him presenting his thoughts to her. She said the more they continue to talk to each other, it will come natural. He makes mention of trying to be perfect, and she tells him to just relax. I have to say, I do like the way that these two communicate. I feel like they've been very open for the most part with how they feel about things. And again, I think much like kind of like Nicole and Chris, these are good foundational questions and things that they're going through that is going to be able to help them out in the future. You all let me know what you think about that. Please remember to like. I want to know what your comments are about this particular episode, and I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye.